Central Bank of Nigeria moves to crash price of rice. New Economic Commission for Africa studies show Africa may not meet Sustainable Development Goals Target 7. The African Development Bank is set to sponsor mass production of vaccines for the continent. Plus, oil resumes climb on large U.S. oil stocks drawdown. Focus of our discussion on the program is on AfCFTA and collaboration with African countries. This is Business Express reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Good to have you join us at this particular point in time. I will start by telling you that the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, and Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, that is RIFAN, have concluded plans to distribute 27,000 metric tons of rice paddies directly to millers nationwide on Thursday, June 24, 2021. The direct allocation from refined warehouses across 16 states of the Federation is sequel to the earlier sale of paddy aggregated as loan repayment under the Anchor Borrowers Program to millers from the rice pyramid unveiled in Niger, Kebbi, Gombe, and Ekiti states. According to the Acting Director, Corporate Communications Department at the CBN, Osita Onwanisobi, Kaduna State has been selected as key location for the paddy allocation exercise, which will be done simultaneously in the states that recorded the highest quality of rice harvest during the last farming season. He said the new strategy was in line with the bank's mandate of ensuring rice stability and its focus of being a people-centered central bank. He also expressed optimism that the allocation of the paddies would trigger a decline in the prices of rice in the Nigerian market, boost availability, and ultimately check the activities of middlemen seeking to create artificial scarcity along the supply chains. And the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has commenced the hearing of a case of fraud involving some ex-directors and some members of staff of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. Statement by Director of Communications and Liaison Department, Dr. Abdullahi Ismaila Ahmed, says the members of staff are answering charges concerning embezzling duty toll allowances, that is DTA, approved by the former management. They were arraigned on a 42-count charge bordering on corruption, fraud, and criminal misappropriation of funds punishable under the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011 as amended in 2012. The ongoing trial of the staff of the service followed a petition to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, about the alleged fraudulent practices which they accused allegedly committed between 2017 and 2018. At the latest hearing of the matter on Wednesday, June 23, 2021, the court fixed the trial date for the case on September 28, 2021. 41.5 million micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, are registered in Nigeria, and experts say this is just a fraction of the real numbers. These MSMEs drive the economy, and that explains why the MSMEs were the worst hit by COVID-19. The 2021 United Nations World MSMEs Day, observed 27th day of June every year, with the theme MSMEs Key to Inclusive and Sustainable Recovery, points to the fact that no meaningful growth or economic recovery can be achieved without them. As Nigeria strategizes towards full recovery from the economic impact of COVID-19, Director General of SMEDAN, Umaru Dikko Rada, is optimistic that developing and strengthening MSMEs through consumption of made-in-Nigeria goods and services will be a sure way to achieving this recovery.
And that will create a market for the Nigerian MSME. And as we are doing it in Abuja, there is going to be an event in all the states of the Federation that will also help in stimulating the development of MSMEs. And then there will also be an MSME award. This MSME award is only to encourage the MSME to do more in their field of.
The federal government says the second National Action Plan of the Open Government Partnership, that is the OGP, is driven by the need to make positive impact on the ordinary citizens by identifying issues that restrict their effective participation in governance as well as deepen transparency mechanisms. Nneka Oko reports that this was made known by the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning at the second quarterly meeting of OGP thematic working groups in Abuja.
The thematic meeting set up today is just to get the teams to have a better understanding of the various roles of the 7 thematic areas. So it's just for cohesion, for effectiveness, and for efficiency.
A lot of government policies that are being implemented are not being recognized because the citizens were not involved and didn't know what government is doing on their own side. But with the co-creation principles of OGP, citizens are now being intertwined with government in carrying out and implementing these policies.
The National Action Plan has 16 commitments and 7 thematic areas that include fiscal transparency, anti-corruption, and citizens' engagement. Moving on, to ensure faster recovery of Africa's economies, the African Development Bank is set to sponsor mass production of vaccines for the continent. President of the bank, Akinwumi Adesina, made this known at the opening of the 56th annual meetings of the Board of Governors of the bank and the 47th annual meeting of the African Development Fund, holding virtually with the theme Building Resilient Economies in Post-COVID-19 Africa. The meeting is brainstorming on opportunities needed to restoring the region's economies and livelihoods, share solutions for addressing the COVID-19 vaccine shortage, climate change, and debt. And from Addis Ababa, the Economic Commission for Africa has unveiled findings of a study titled Energy Prices in Africa, Transition Towards Clean Energy for Africa's Industrialization. The presentation, which was made during a virtual ministerial meeting, indicates that 600 million people in Africa do not have access to electricity, and 900 million have no access to clean cooking fuel. Meanwhile, electricity access rates in 24 countries are below 50%, which they say there is no way Africa can build forward better if adequate investment in energy and ensuring affordable access for all is not made. The United Nations urged countries to ensure that there is cost-reflective pricing in the energy sector. The report cites Liberia, Malawi, Central African Republic, Burundi, and South Sudan as having stagnated or reversed in electricity access. Countries like Nigeria, DRC, and Ethiopia reportedly have the biggest electricity access deficits. Joining me to discuss the African continental market and the collaboration with African countries is Namibia's High Commissioner to Nigeria. He is by name His Excellency Humphrey Gaisep. You are welcome to Business Express.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Your Excellency, for a country that largely depends on tourism, what are the opportunities for the AFCFTA?
Well, in Namibia, we see the AFCFTA,
yes,
as a potential engine for economic growth and industrialization in this continent. Therefore, we have recently adopted a AFCFTA strategy that basically looks at what are the challenges and what are the constraints that our SME sectors and other larger businesses may face as we are implementing this specific program. In Namibia's case, just like many other countries, we are facing the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, and therefore we have come up with an industrial upgrading and maintenance program, which is basically a scheme that assists companies during this difficult period so that they can improve their competitiveness, but also at the same time they can maintain their operations. Now we see the African Continental Free Trade Area as basically something that will deepen the integration of this continent.
Yes.
And therefore we are fully committed to this program.
Okay, does that explain your recent collaborations with Nigeria? Is it about the MSMEs and the opportunities in the African continental market?
Yes, we see Nigeria as having a great experience in the area of small and medium enterprises. SMEDAN, as you just mentioned a moment ago, there are 41 million small and medium enterprises in Nigeria, and therefore the Federation has a lot of experience and expertise in dealing with challenges facing this sector, and we are therefore going to encourage our agencies to work with SMEDAN so that we can jointly see how we can learn from Nigeria's experience, and at the same time also utilize the policies that Nigeria has used to advance this specific industry.
Wow, that is good to know. And what other bilateral areas do you think both countries can actually collaborate to benefit from each other?
Well, we have a lot of ongoing bilateral cooperation. You may not know it very well, but a few years back we have collaborated with Bauchi State, and we have donated a number of wild animals. And Bauchi State then started Somo Park, where they are specifically keeping animals from Namibia. So we are also looking with Bauchi State how we can strengthen and deepen cooperation in that area. At the same time, there are also other areas. Recently, we attracted around 4 companies from Nigeria who have come and registered in Namibia and who are operating in Namibia. So at the same time, we are looking towards attracting more business people from Nigeria who can come and set up operations in Namibia, from where they can target the Southern African market.
Okay, with all these plans in place, there are recent reports that there is a spike in COVID-19 in your country. Won't it affect some of these plans as well as the faster recovery that Africa is looking to?
Well, obviously it will have some impact, but at the same time, the government of the Republic of Namibia is working very hard to mitigate and reduce the impact of this pandemic. It is true, daily we have quite high numbers of infections that are, in relation to our small population, quite a source of concern. Yesterday we had around 1,500 infections and around 45 people who passed away. And so far we have lost around 1,200 people. But at the same time, we are working hard also with our neighbors to improve access to oxygen, access to vaccines, and we have recently received some vaccines from COVAX. And we are doing quite a lot of outreach so that more people can come for vaccinations. At the same time, we also articulate the issues of social distancing, for people to wear masks and to reduce the number of people at gatherings and so on. Right now, our capital is under lockdown because the highest numbers of infections are in the capital, in the region that hosts the capital.
Okay, talking about vaccines, we just had hours ago the president of the African Development Bank, Akiwumi Adesina, talking about the AFDB going into mass production of vaccines for Africa. How would that help faster recovery as well as trade in the continent?
Well, we see it as once you are producing vaccines in the continent, it will enhance access by African countries. Therefore, it's something that we should all welcome and we should all lend our support to, so that vaccines are produced, hopefully in all the 5 regions of the continent, so that all countries have got access to vaccines and people can willingly go for vaccinations.
Your Excellency Humphrey Gesab, High Commissioner of Namibia to Nigeria, thank you so very much for sharing your thoughts with us at this particular point in time. We hope to have you again and again.
Thank you, sir.
Well, moving on, gold firms as Powell dials back rate hike rhetoric. Let's see how commodities market is faring. Players in the agriculture value chain are keying into the federal government's initiative aimed at diversifying the economy for revenue generation and boosting of the economy. Already, various agricultural subsectors are engaging for productive participation along the value chains. Bosset Abel in this report tells us of mushroom prospects and opportunities at the first National Summit and Exhibition in Abuja.
As Nigeria is poised to gain from the investment and trade opportunities opened up by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, harnessing opportunities in meaningful value chain activities across board to tap into the African market remains paramount. To this end, mushroom growers are seeking ways to enhance visibility in nutrition through the special plant. It is the first National Mushroom Summit tagged Exploiting the Mushroom Value Chain for Nutrition, Medicine and Exports.
This is where mushrooms offer so much hope to contribute significantly to the country's GDP.
Furthermore, it should also stimulate stakeholders to key into government's policies.
Whatever you are doing, you turn it into an enterprise, so that you can generate money from there, create employment.
Research shows that the world mushroom market as of 2020 stood at $45.3 billion, and Nigeria is estimated to account for just 10% of the global mushroom market, valued at $4.53 billion or 1.8 trillion naira. Growers and processors say they are working out modalities that will enhance mushroom cultivation in Nigeria, which they say will serve as an investment opportunity and a tool for sustainable development in the mushroom value chain. It was also an opportunity to showcase a variety of mushroom delicacies.
This summit has really done well in improving the local content of this country.
Oh, it's a wonderful and a timely summit.
We are going viral because we are going international, no longer national, so with time. And all these products you see here, they are locally sourced.
This summit is geared towards lasting network that will advance the cause of mushroom cultivation, processing and marketing for the benefit of Nigerians and the economy. Bosset Abel.
Oil rose above $75 a barrel on Wednesday, reaching its highest since late 2018 after an industry report on U.S. crude inventories reinforced views of a tightening market as travel picks up in Europe and North America. The American Petroleum Institute reported that crude stocks fell by a bigger than expected 7.2 million barrels Two market sources said Brent crude rose 76 cents to $75.57 a barrel, having touched its highest since October 2018 at $75.66. U.S. West Texas Intermediate added 55 cents to $73.40 and is close to its highest since October 2018. The Nigerian equities market closed Wednesday in red, with the all-share index depreciating by 0.11% to end the day's session at 37,804.46 basis points. More than 208 million shares were traded in 3,365 deals, valued at 1.602 billion naira. Equity capitalization closed the session at 19.703 trillion naira. And moving on to the global stocks, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index jumps nearly 2% as Asia stocks largely rise up.
Stocks in Asia were largely higher on Wednesday, with stocks in Hong Kong leading gains regionally. By the close of trading Wednesday in Hong Kong, the Hang Seng Index surged 1.79% to close at 28,817.07. The Shanghai Composite rose 0.25%, while the Nikkei 225 dropped slightly to close at 28,874.89. European stocks pulled back slightly on Wednesday, despite purchasing managers' indices showing booming business growth in the Eurozone. Germany's DAX slipped 0.61%, London's FTSE 0.03%, and CAC 40 of France dipped 0.49%. U.S. stock indices were mixed as investors assessed prospects for an economic recovery, while concerns eased that faster inflation would spur policy tightening. Contracts tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average advanced just 36 points, while the S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 were both little changed. In Africa, markets closed mixed, with South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 leading gains with a 0.29% increase to close at 59,666.94, while Tunisia's Tunidex led declines to close at 7,317.68. That's global markets. Neka Uko.
Well, let's now see how the Naira is exchanging for other currencies. Well, that wraps this edition of Business Express. Remember to keep in touch with us by sending in your comments, observations, and suggestions. Also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTS channel. Business Express returns tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Be safe out there.